Okay, so this is sex-linked traits, notes, and we're going to start out by you guys are going to take a colorblind test. So these are 4 different tests that test colorblindness, which is a sex-linked trait. What number is in this circle? If you said 12, you'd be right. This is a test along with this one. What number is this? If you said 74, old-fashioned 7 here, and then a 4 here, you would be right. These 2 are tests for red-green color blindness, the most common form of color blindness in humans. This is a new age test. You should see a smiley face there. This is the second most common type of color blindness, which is blue-purple. What number do you see here? It's again an old-timey number 7 this way. So color blindness is inherited through sex-linked traits. Well, first of all, color blindness is a recessive trait. So that means it is the which allele, the dominant, the capital, or the recessive, or the lowercase. Well, I messed it up. It's a lowercase allele, which is going to be mutated. This condition is found on the X sex chromosome. And there are 2. There's an X and then there's a Y. If you have 2 X's, you are a female. If you have 1 X and 1 Y, you are a male. So females, where do we get our X's from? Well, if we look here, this is a review. This is actually something called Edwards syndrome. Notice there's 3 copies of chromosome number 18. What I'm looking at is this right here. They're the X and then the Y. We always put the sex chromosomes in the bottom right corner. The rest of the chromosomes are organized according to length. Number 1 is the longest, and in our case, 22 is the shortest. Now, because there are 2 X's, this is a girl. This is a karyotype of Down syndrome. So you see your 3 copies of chromosome 21. So that's when the chromosomes fail to separate in anaphase. So you end up with an extra chromosome. But this is a male. There's 1 X and there's 1 Y chromosome. So where do we get X's and Y's from? Well, for girls, we have 2 X's, ladies, and we have 2 parents. So our mother gives us an X, and our father gives us an X, which makes us girls. Now, a male. Well, since females are XX, that means this X in this boy had to come from a female, because that's all we got is X's. The male donates the Y sex chromosome, and that makes him a male. So what does this really matter? Well, it matters a great deal. But before we get started on that, let's take a look at the other kind of sex-linked trait you have to know, and that is hemophilia. Hemophilia, or a person called a hemophiliac, is a person whose blood does not clot. You can see this person's arm and this baby, his or her shoulder. Hemophilia is when your blood does not clot. So if you get a bruise, you bump into a wall, or you hit a countertop, people can actually die from that. So they're called free bleeders. And again, males, you get 1 X from your mama, you get your 1 Y from your daddy. Ladies, both of our X's are from our mom and our dad. So, well, what does this mean? Well, these are your notes for the day that you have in your link. So we've already covered this right here. Okay, now why can't males be carriers? Well, if you look up here, a male is XY. The sex-linked chromosomes are on the X chromosome, not the Y. So males cannot be a carrier of a sex-linked trait because you only get one Y, one X, sorry. Your X means whatever that X says for your sex-linked traits, that's what you get. Okay? So whatever the X says, that's what you get. So we've already covered this. Males, you get your Y from your daddy, your X from your mama. So your sex-linked traits, so color blindness, hemophilia, you get it from your mothers only. Ladies, since we have two X's, we have to get a sex-linked recessive condition from both our parents in order to be able to get them. So let's look up here. Now, this may look like a big, fancy, complicated chart, but it's really not. Everywhere you see XX, that's a girl. Everywhere you see an XY, that's a boy. So what sex is this here? Ignoring everything that's on an X or a Y. This is an XX, that's a female. This is an XY, that's a male. What are these two X's here? They're a girl. What is this XY over here? Is a boy. So the X's and the Y's you don't have to memorize because you already know XX is girl, XY is boy. Now, normal, which means in this capital H example, means you do not have hemophiliac. Capital B means you are normal and you are not colorblind. So this X big B, the X big B, that is an allele. And that allele means not colorblind. If we look here, this is a female. She's got an X big B. She is not colorblind. If we look at this here, X big BY, this is a male, not colorblind, because the capital is normal. These are recessive conditions. Here, this is a female who is normal. Two X's means girl. The two capital H's means she does not have hemophilia. She's normal. Over here, the X, the little b, is the recessive. That means you are colorblind. So X little b is a colorblind female. This is a colorblind female. So the X big B allele means you are a normal male. The X little b allele means you are a colorblind person. So for girls, for us to go colorblind, we actually, both our parents have to give it to us. We can be a carrier. This girl right here is X big B, so she's a normal color vision person, not colorblind. This little b here, though, she's a carrier. So she's not colorblind, but she can pass colorblindness on to her babies. Now, this guy over here, X little by, he is, little b means he's colorblind. This is a colorblind male. There is no letter next to the Y because all sex-linked traits are on the X chromosome, not the Y. Now, I can note that there are two genetic diseases that are found on the Y chromosome, but those people, the males with those diseases do not live very long. Usually they definitely don't live long enough to have children, so the little Y you don't have to worry about the Y carrying the sex-linked trait, because if they have those particular diseases, they don't live long enough to actually give birth to a child themselves to pass it on. So we only have to learn about the genes, the sex-linked conditions that are on the X chromosome. So how exactly does that work? Okay, well, let's put it into practice. So this is the Go and move this out a little bit more. This is just some practice. Okay. So X big B, X big B. First of all, is that a male or a female? Okay, if you thought female, you'd be right. Okay, so is this normal or is this person, this girl, going to be colorblind? Well, is colorblindness a dominant or a recessive trait? There we go. The capital B stands for normal. So this is a normal female that is not colorblind. So here it is here, a non-colorblind female. So X big B is a non-colorblind female. So in other words, she's normal. What about this person? Is it a girl or a boy, first of all? If you thought girl, you'd be right. Is this girl normal or is she a hemophiliac? Well, we come over here. The capital H is normal. Even though, yes, she has a lowercase h, the capital H dominates. So this is a normal female that is not a hemophiliac. So here we go. E, non-hemophiliac female. So letter E, that's number 2. She is a non-hemophiliac female. She is a carrier, though, and could pass it on to her babies. What about this person? Is this a guy or a girl, first of all? And hopefully you thought guy, because XY, that's a boy. Capital H, is he normal or is he hemophiliac? He's going to be a non-hemophiliac male right there. So X big HY, that's a non-hemophiliac male, normal. What about this person here, number 4? Male or female? Well, it's a male. And the little b, is he normal or is he colorblind? Well, it's recessive. He's colorblind. So this is a colorblind male, and that's going to be letter F. Okay, so hopefully you're kind of starting to get this now. So 5, is this a girl or a boy? 2 X's. Well, it is a girl, and there's little h's. So is she normal or is she a hemophiliac? She's going to be a hemophiliac female, so she's D. Hemophiliac female, because she has 2 little h's. Number 6, 2 X's, that makes it which sex? A girl. And 2 little b's. Is she normal or is she colorblind? Little b is colorblind. So this is going to be a colorblind female. And this, X little hy. XY means it's what sex? Male. And the little h, is it normal or hemophiliac? Well, it should be hemophiliac. So this is a hemophiliac male, number 7. Okay, so for the standard class, this is all that y'all need to know. Honors, we'll be continuing on with Punnett squares here shortly.